Difficulty naming the state and other things. Your behavior and how you are speaking to yourself will show you the state that you are in so you can name it. If your behavior is, you fly off the handle real quick, or if you cry real quick, so there's anger, there's disappointment, right? Those two things. So the behavior that you're doing will show you the mental state that you are in. Part 2. You want a new car, but you're undecided about exactly what. Well, do you like driving standard or automatic? Well, that's usually a good place to start. Do you want it brand new or do you want it pre-owned? That's another good place to start, because that depends on what kind of payments you want to make, or do you want to buy it cash out? See, these are things that we answer all the way down to color. What's your favorite color? Well, chances are that's what you want your car to be. And then, do you want leather interior or cloth interior? These are things. You see, the more time you spend in answering the question of what do you want your car to look like? Oh, you build your intensity and the excitement of you creating your ideal car. You don't just say, oh, well, I'd like a Mazda. Doesn't matter. I'd like a Toyota. A Toyota what? A Mazda what? Maybe you want a Porsche. Begin to play around, or as Neville says, toy with the idea of what kind of car you want. Because as you do that, it begins to take shape in your mind, and you get excited because now you can start to see yourself driving this car. You can start to hear people say, oh my God, that car suits you perfectly. But how would you know if you don't take the time to flesh it out? Take the time. Same thing goes with what kind of house do you want? Do you want a bungalow, 2-story, condo? What? It depends on your personality. Listen, if you're anything like me, you want a single family home. Shoot, you could even go with an acreage because you don't quite like people all that much. And you don't want to smell what your neighbors are cooking, okay? So this is what helps you to decide. And now when you start to get these things in mind, you say, okay, do I want a mortgage or do I want to own it outright? Do I want to rent it? Well, each of those things is going to feel different to you. So now you start to flesh it out again, because the more you flesh it out, the more clear you become upon it, the more excited you get. And the more excited you get, well, now you're working with that. Now here's the other part. Romance. What do you like? Do you like long walks on the beach? Do you like hand feeding your partner grapes and pineapple and so on and so forth? Are you uber romantic, or you just want to cuddle on the couch and watch movies? What do you like? Because now when you begin to play that out, or perhaps you're the one, your quote unquote love language is about feeding them. And you say, what dish can I create today just so I can watch them take that first bite? And it makes my body quiver when I hear them say, oh my God, I just felt the whole universe come alive on my tongue. What is this? This is delicious. You see what I'm saying? If that's your idea of romance, you have to know what your idea of something is before you can create it. What do you want it to be? It is based upon your personality. This is the nuanced part of creation. What moves you to create in the first place? That's what you use. But you notice how the law is applied in the same way. The image or the sensation. Now, here's the other part. You can't think of a scene. Well, if you're like me, sometimes I sit there and I say to myself, nah, that didn't just happen. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And you're just like, you're in disbelief. You can't even believe it. And you sit there and you go, wait, how did I end up with that? This is what I really wanted. These are the things I really wanted in my life. Now, do you hear? Do you see? Who would you tell first? Would you tell your best friend first? And you say, listen, I'm so speechless. These are all of the things I wanted for my perfect life. And I'm looking at all of them and I'm living them every single day. Like, this is too big to be a coincidence. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Then that would be your scene if you're one to be in disbelief. Now, if you are one to say, let me tell you something, Linda. I knew what I wanted and I saw it in my mind's eye, and I said a sprinkle of this, a squeeze of that, a dash of this, and I put my life together the way I wanted. If that's your attitude and that's how you would tell somebody what you did, well then that's your scene. Now, are you a hearer? Meaning, do you hear? And are you hearing yourself tell somebody that? Or are you hearing them say, oh my God, I remember you telling me last week this is what you wanted. How did you do that so fast? Are you hearing somebody tell you that? Or are you touchy-feeling? And you are holding this person's arm, or you're shaking them and saying, hey, I did this. I can't believe I did it. And you're jumping up and down. You know how chicks can be, right? In their excitement. You know how the dudes can be. If you're a dude, well, you know how dudes are. I don't know how dudes are. I don't know how y'all react to these success things. As a man, y'all would have to figure that out. You tell your boys, dude, this was the woman I was looking for. Dude, however you say it. That is how you create your scene. You create your scene based upon your personality and how you would do what? Act in reality. That's how you build your scene. Now I trust that this response makes sense to you. If not, ask again and I shall elaborate a little bit more. And when people say they see manifestations happen, but for other people around them, celebrate it when you see it. Celebrate it when you see it. Because now you can say, oh snap, everybody wants the same thing. And if I'm seeing it there, I'm on the right track. So my plant is in bloom. So I have to reap my harvest sooner rather than later. And celebrate it in others. Don't judge the happiness of others because they have what you want. Why? Because now the state you would be in would be disappointment. And if you are in a state of disappointment, you have to experience disappointment. Because disappointment is no small feeling. Oh, it is an all-encompassing feeling. So when you see someone living the life that you want, celebrate it. Because it means you are pointed in the right direction. How else would you see it? If you weren't looking for it, if you weren't speaking it to yourself, you'd never see it because you'd be in a different state. So when you see it, accept it and rejoice with them. Because when you rejoice with another, you rejoice with yourself. Anywho, I trust that makes sense. Much love to you.